Part 7. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 61. Chapter 61 The Purest Blood. Looking at the five brothers standing in front of Yang Zizi, Goikale's expression was as steady as a mountain, and he did not show any ups and downs of affection due to this. Lele, go back quickly. This place is really not suitable for you. Goi Chen Chen tried to dissuade her. Ghost Kale is not only cold-natured but also impulsive. He even inherited the Ghost King's bloodthirsty and specializes in pure blood. However, in this world, what makes them feel the purest is Yang Zizi's blood. They are afraid that Goi Kale will not be able to control himself and up Yang Zizi's blood. You should mind my affairs less. Goi Kale glanced at them coldly, walked around the poplar seeds, smelled them carefully, looked at him as if he were prey, and then left. If it weren't for the presence of her brothers, she would have wanted to taste the purest blood in the world even after she was full. He had endured it for a whole lesson. The smell of him was really unstoppable. We must stay by our sister's side at all times to prevent Lele from having any bad thoughts towards her. What's wrong? Does she want to drink my blood? Yang Zizi was a little scared. He cherished his life the most. How could he leave this beautiful world so quickly? Don't worry, she can't hurt you as long as your brothers are here. Is she really your sister, your biological child? The five brothers nodded in unison. Sister Goiziogo suddenly held his left hand with both hands. Yang Zizi subconsciously wanted to take his hand out. After all, he also had a family. How could he flirt with others casually? Although she was their biological sister, a human and a vampire, how could this be possible? He could only regard the sentence as a joke. But no matter how hard she tried, it was all in vain. Finally, 20 seconds later, Goiziogo took the initiative to let her go, but there was a different feeling in the palm of her hand. Sister, my brother has set a restriction for you. You are not allowed to leave the side of one of us, otherwise you will be forcibly pulled back to me. Today's ghost Xiaogu is particularly serious. In the past, he was always shouting at her. Yes, it is so serious today. It seems that things are indeed serious. Then if I go home, you guys will go too. Yang Zizi motioned to them with his eyes. You are sure to go to my house to be a light bulb. After class, we will hand over the restraint to the god of war. He can stand up to 5 of our brothers. With him protecting you, we can't rest assured. Goiziogo said. Hey, now, is she going to give up her freedom? This is the only way to survive. Then you have to get your sister home as soon as possible. Okay, it'll be quick, Goiyi said with a smile. Sigh, it's hard to live without freedom. Although her brothers follow her without any regrets, she is really not used to being followed by them wherever she goes. I was drinking milk tea with my little sister and was followed. They were waiting outside to go to the toilet. After waiting for a long time, they barged in. It has been so long, but the ghost Kale has not shown any signs of leaving. No, she has to go out in person to persuade people. Oh, no, persuade ghosts. She can try. Yang Zizi moved his chair next to Goi Kale. The brothers followed closely. I know you are a vampire. No one expected that the first words Yang Zizi said to Goi Kale would directly reveal her identity. Good, very good, isn't this the rhythm of suicide? The most taboo thing for the vampire royal family is to have their identity discovered by others. Once discovered, both the discoverer and the discoverer will pay a heavy price. That is, death. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 62. Chapter 62 Let's have breakfast. Yang Zizi woke up in the morning and heard a knock on the door. Lun Chenchi, who was making breakfast, went to open the door. The sound should be that the 5 brothers were coming. However, isn't the place where they live very far away from here? Why did they come here? Yang Zizi walked downstairs with his head on the chicken coop, drowsy and yawning, and greeted them vaguely. When the brothers saw such a sloppy Yang Zizi, not only did they not dislike him, but they found him very cute. "Why are you here?" Yang Zizi yawned again, as if he was lacking sleep. "We just moved here this morning, so we stopped by for breakfast. I heard that the breakfast cooked by the god of war is delicious," Gui Chen Chen said with a smile, not forgetting to glance into the kitchen. "You guys bought the villa next door?" Yang Zizi asked. "3 days ago I heard the news that the villa next door was sold." "Yes, this way we can keep you safe." "I'm just a kid, you don't need to do anything extra." Lun Chenchi, who was sitting next to Yang Zizi, said coldly, as if he didn't welcome these guests. "You are the god of war. Of course we know that you are capable of protecting our sister, but what if there is an accident?" Gui Nan Brown said helplessly. "Everything, isn't it just to show off His Majesty as the blood of war?" Yang Zizi felt that they were thinking too much. If Gui Kale really wanted to kill him, he would have done it long ago. He felt that Gui Kale was actually a pretty good vampire. Although he was a bit aloof, he looked at people calmly. And he doesn't seem to be a crooked person. On the other hand, these elder brothers are always wary of their own sisters to protect an outsider, which is really chilling. "Actually, you don't need to make such a fuss. I don't think your sister came here to my blood." "What is that?" "I don't know about this at the moment." Yang Zizi scratched his head. While eating breakfast, no matter how prosperous the family was, they would not be willing to give it to these brothers-in-law. In the end, there were some leftover poplar seeds after eating them. In order to prevent waste, Lun Chenchi gave them to eat. The brothers were not polite and started to eat hungrily. Yang Zizi Lun Chenchi was very curious, as he was also a vampire, why Lun Chenchi couldn't eat human food, but his brothers could eat it so naturally. "Husband, why can brothers eat human food but you can't?" Yang Zizi sat on Lun Chenchi's lap, hooked his neck and said coquettishly. "Because they were kind-hearted and couldn't bear to kill living creatures. Over time, they accepted human food." The smile on Lun Chenchi's face was a little bitter, and he seemed a little guilty. "My husband is also a kind-hearted vampire," Yang Zizi announced loudly, as if he wanted the whole world to know that his husband was a kind-hearted person. Lun Chenchi sent Yang Zizi to school, and his brothers drove behind him. It was like the visual sense of a gang boss appearing and his younger brothers following behind. After sending Yang Zizi, Lun Chenchi did not leave immediately, but went to an appointment with an old friend. When Lun Chenchi walked to the hill behind the school, there was a girl standing under a tree with her back to him, looking straight at the cliff in front of her. The girl's back looks very sad. As if feeling some kind of aura approaching, she turned around happily and called his name with a smile. Brother Shenchi. Tears shone in his eyes, and he poured out all his grievances. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 63. Chapter 63. Then start doing things well for me. Lun Chenchi was not touched by this at all, and warned in a cold voice, "Gui Kale, if you dare to hurt Zizi even a little bit, I will make you unable to be reincarnated forever." Gui Kale's eyes widened and she looked at Lun Chenchi standing in front of her in disbelief. Is this still the god of war she knew? For a stupid human being, he actually threatened to take her life as a warning to her in public. Brother Shenchi, you actually want to kill me for a low-level human being? Gui Kale was heartbroken, and his heart hurt like a knife. Lun Chenchi seemed a little bored and didn't want to talk nonsense to her. When he turned to leave, Gui Kale ran behind him and hugged his waist, crying, "Brother Shenchi, don't go, don't leave me. Do you know, I disobeyed my father, hurt my mother, and risked my life to come to you, just to see you and to let you return to the vampire clan with me." Lun Chenchi broke away from her easily, glanced at him, and finally couldn't bear it anymore. When he first joined the vampire clan, Goikale was the first to talk to him. When he was bullied by others, Goikale was the first to stand up for him. When he returned victorious from the war, he celebrated him most sincerely. That person is also Goikale. However, she was not the destination he wanted. Lunchenchi sighed helplessly, if you want, we can be friends. Friend. No, he doesn't want to, she wants to be his girlfriend. No, brother Shenchi, I want to be your girlfriend. Okay. Goikale looked at him with extremely longing eyes, hoping to get a bit of pity from him. This position is already occupied. Lunchenchi coldly dropped these words and turned to leave. Goikale was unwilling to give in, and instantly moved in front of him, stopped him, and cried, okay, I won't be your girlfriend, brother Shenchi, then how about you go back with me? Come back to the vampire clan with me, my father will definitely. I'm very happy, the other two elders will also value you. I thought that she, the noble princess of the blood clan, was born noble and cool, but she was so humble in front of the prosperous world. Hearing Gui's own Liang, Lunchenchi's eyes instantly glowed with bloodshot red light. When I return to the blood clan, it will be the time when the blood clan will perish. Goikale stood there blankly. Why was his murderous intent so strong? Why does he hate the blood royal family so much? Does this have anything to do with him leaving the vampire clan? By the time she came to her senses, Lunchenchi had disappeared. Goikale felt a breath of new life not far away, and said solemnly, how does it feel? A girl in black walked out from behind a tree. He lowered his head and said, Master, I didn't expect that after becoming a vampire, I would be so powerful and so fast that I could see clearly even a speck of dust in the distance. The girl was both excited and surprised. Goikale curled up his lips, stupid humans are indeed greedy. Then start doing things for me properly. Goikale paused and then said, are you Yang Zizi's sister? The girl was stunned for a while and said, I am the adopted daughter of the Gu family, and Yang Zizi is the biological daughter of the Gu family. She and I have no blood relationship at all. When she mentioned Yang Zizi, she clenched her fists, and her entire popularity to the point of trembling all over. Ghost Chow Le smiled slightly, she had indeed found the right person. Seeing the girl's resentful look, she was extremely satisfied. She has believed in a saying since ancient times, dogs will jump over walls when they are anxious, let alone humans. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 64. Chapter 64. Gu Xing. Yang Zizi looked boredly at the young brothers playing basketball on the playground outside the window. I don't know if my brothers moved bricks secretly or something, but I fell asleep on the table in the early morning. Speaking of which, vampires never sleep, so why do they still fall asleep? Yang Zizi shook his head and stopped thinking about it. He would find out when they woke up and asked. Suddenly he saw a girl walking by the basketball court. Yang Zizi subconsciously called out the person's name, Gu Xing. Yang Zizi immediately chased him out, but when he arrived at the playground, he had already disappeared. Strange, where did he go? Maybe she saw it wrong and her eyes were dazzled, and others saw Gu Xing. Maybe. Police everywhere are now looking for Gu Xing. It is inevitable that she will be discovered when she goes out so blatantly. With his temperament, how could he take such a big risk? When Yang Zizi turned around and was about to leave, behind a tree, a girl in black was holding a gun, pointing it at Yang Zizi's head accurately. The girl in black pressed the launch button, and the bullet flew towards Yang Zizi with fire. A body ran forward, hugged Yang Zizi and moved aside to avoid the bullets hitting the glass window, and countless glass fragments poured down. Seeing that her goal was not achieved, the girl in black stamped her feet in annoyance, and in anger she could only retreat first. Sister, are you okay? Goizioga looked at Yang Zizi worriedly. I don't know what happened, but the five brothers suddenly fell asleep. The hypnotizing vampires around him include Lunchenchi and Goikale. Lunchenchi is now in the company, and there is no need for him to hypnotize them because they still have to protect Yang Zizi. Then it's only Goikale. If it's not him, then it's possible that another vampire smelled the poplar seeds and came looking for it. The person who just wanted to attack Yang Zizi might be a human or a ghost. Don't worry, I'm fine. She seemed to be sure that the person who just passed by on the playground was Gu Xing. She underestimated her. Since he had the ability to successfully escape from prison, he had the ability to wander anywhere without being discovered by the police. Goiziogu immediately went to Goikale and asked if he had used hypnosis to harm Yang Zizi. Goikale looked at his eldest brother in disbelief. For an insignificant outsider, he actually questioned his biological sister in public. Brother, what is so special about that stupid human being that he allows you to protect her like this? Don't forget, I am your biological sister. So you have to listen to your brother and don't hurt Yang Zizi, okay? Goiziogu's voice became much gentler, and he naturally understood Goikale's temperament. Hurt her, brother, is your biological sister like this in your heart? Goikale asked sarcastically. Ghost Xiaogu sighed, not wanting to explain. I'm just wondering why you are trying so hard to protect a low-level human being. Goikale crossed his arms and looked at Goiziogu arrogantly. Goiziogu still didn't answer. He absolutely couldn't tell Goikale, because his mother and Goikale had very similar temperaments, and they couldn't tolerate sand in their eyes. If she knew about Yang Zizi's existence, she would definitely not let it go. That's what you said. Goikale obviously lost his patience in the future. Her abilities are outstanding among humans, so I want to train her into a vampire, Goiziogu said slowly and expressionlessly. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 65. Chapter 65. My uncle is jealous again. Goikale suddenly laughed sarcastically. It had been a while since they last met, and the eyes of his brothers were getting worse and worse. Hearing this, Goikale stopped entangled with him and left. However, before leaving, she confirmed one thing to Goiziogu. Lunchenchi really married Yang Zizi in the human world. After getting the exact answer, Goikale left angrily. Lele, you'd better go back early. If your father finds out, your mother will be sad, Goiziogu advised. I won't go back. The purpose of my coming here is to take brother Shenchi back. If he doesn't go back, I won't be able to go back. Goikale turned his back to him and continued to walk forward, unswervingly. Explain. Yang Zizi went back to the dormitory to get some things and became familiar with her, when Fifei suddenly grabbed her and refused to let her go. You must let Bai's Hishu and I see each other again, otherwise I won't let you go. Fifei dragged Yang Zizi around. She regretted it, so he shouldn't have brokered this impossible fate. Yang Zizi said helplessly, don't you have his contact information? You took the initiative to ask him out. But he didn't reply when I sent him messages, and he didn't answer the phone calls. Fifei cried. Hey, there was nothing he could do. She couldn't just drag Bai's Hishu over and tie him up. But when he saw Fifei sitting on the ground holding his thigh, she screamed. This is also my fault. Why do you want to be a matchmaker when you are so good? Hey, forget it, good people have done it, so let's do it to the end. Okay, I'll help you make an appointment with him tomorrow, Yang Zizi said helplessly. Fifei immediately became excited, stood up and hugged him. I wish you and your boyfriend a happy marriage. He was so happy that he even said the wedding blessing. After leaving the dormitory, she always felt like someone was following her. Maybe it's her brothers, but she still has some restrictions. As usual, the brothers successfully handed over the ban to Lunchenchi. Watching Yang Zizi dial a phone number, Lunchenchi asked, who to call? The beginning of Bai. Lun Zhenji seemed unhappy. Ever since he introduced his partner to Bai's Hishu, the two of them had interacted more and more. His children were calling him more and more frequently, working hard for this boy day and night. The matter of finding a partner. At the beginning of this Bai, I really wanted to dig a hole and bury him. After a while, the call was connected, and Yang Zizi directly told him to go to the school to keep an appointment tomorrow, and asked him to go to the school to find Fi Fei. Under the pressure of Yang Zizi, and thinking of the cannibalistic expression of Lun Zhenji next to Yang Zizi at the moment, he was finally forced to compromise helplessly. Child Lun Zhenji suddenly called her. Yang Zizi turned to look at him, and she knew at a glance that her uncle was jealous, but he looked too cute when he was jealous. Yang Zizi couldn't help but stretched out his claws and pinched Lun Zhenji's face. The most graceful and elegant god of war in the vampire tribe is willing to be played with by a human girl like this. He has somewhat lost his grace as a god of war. My uncle is jealous again. Yang Zizi looked at him with a smile. I'm going to the blood out of this guy Bai's Hishu tonight. Yang Zizi smiled. He naturally knew that Lun Zhenji was joking, so he cooperated with him seriously and finished the trick. Then he is too pitiful. He has no wife at such a young age and has no children yet. It's so pitiful to go away alone. Yang Zizi covered his face and looked sad. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 66. Chapter 66, Scared people until their faces turned red. Lun Zhenji was amused by Yang Zizi's cute appearance. Kid, your acting skills should make your debut, it will fulfill the wishes of those netizens, Lun Zhenji said half-jokingly. Ever since Lun Zhenji announced his relationship with Yang Zizi at Gu Xingxing's engagement ceremony, the major media directly posted the matter online for a month, and they didn't know how much money they made because of their incident. How much? After that, many netizens lamented that they had no chance, but there were also countless male netizens who supported Yang Zizi's debut. Please ask the goddess to make her debut. Forget it, I'm afraid my uncle will be jealous again. Yang Zizi held his arms and said disapprovingly. Her temperament is straightforward and not suitable for the chaotic circle of the entertainment industry. What's more, if the agency forces him to speculate with a certain male star every day, then his family will definitely ruin the entertainment industry. Lun Zhenji smiled, his child finally became sensible. The young couple walked into the mall with their fingers intertwined, and immediately became the focus of everyone's eyes, with a 100% return rate. Lun Zhenji pushed a shopping cart, carried Yang Zizi in, and then picked up a shopping basket. Why do you still need to carry a basket? Yang Zizi asked in confusion. There are a lot of things to buy today, and I'm afraid they will crowd you, Lun Zhenji said softly. Yang Zizi smiled from ear to ear. I want to eat hairy crabs. Okay, buy it. I want to eat braised pork ribs. Purchase. After walking around, the shopping basket was already full, and Yang Zizi kept eating what he was holding in his hand. They were browsing the snack area, and Lun Zhenji saw a 5 or 6-year-old girl holding cheese sticks. If she couldn't hold them down, she carried them around with her clothes, as if she wanted to finish them all. Would you like to eat that? Lun Zhenji asked Yang Zizi. He felt that since children like to eat it, poplar seeds must also like to eat it. Yang Zizi looked over at Lun Zhenji's line of sight and nodded, yeah, yeah. Seeing that the little girl had finished taking all the cheese sticks, Lun Zhenji took a long step over and said not so gently, kid, people can't be greedy, please give all of these to me. The little girl blinked her big eyes and looked straight at Lun Zhenji, her face turned red, and she said stupidly, but my brother is also very greedy. Lun Zhenji was stunned and said, then brother bought it from you at double the price. No, the little girl looked extremely cute trying to protect her food. The way Lun Zhenji spoke like this made Yang Zizi think that he was being mean to the little girl. Yang Zizi really can't stand it anymore. If this continues, Lun Zhenji will definitely be mistaken for bullying children. Yang Zizi wanted to climb out of the shopping cart, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get out. The shopping cart must be too deep. Upon seeing this, Lun Zhenji quickly took Yang Zizi out. Sister is so beautiful. The little girl looked up at Yang Zizi and said with envy. Yang Zizi smiled brightly, squatted down and touched the little girl's face. You are very cute too. Child, can you give the cheese stick to this brother, he really wants to eat it. Sure, the little girl actually agreed immediately. As expected, affinity is still very important. Lun Zhenji never learned to be gentle to people other than Yang Zizi. Look, I'm more convincing. Look at you, you're scaring people so much that they're blushing. Okay, my kid is the best. Lun Zhenji put her arms around his waist and kissed her lips. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 67. Chapter 67 Missing. Uncle, how about we have a child? Yang Zizi leaned against his chest and said. What should I do if I ask someone for it and they don't give it to me? I mean, we want one for ourselves. Who is willing to give his child to others? Lun Zhenji asked. Yang Zizi's hair is almost matted. Lun Zhenji, you must be poisonous. I mean, we too will give birth to one of our own. It's not good for children to have children, Lun Zhenji said helplessly. Lun Zhenji, I'm telling you seriously, please be more serious. Yang Zizi could tell that he didn't want Lun Zhenji. Lun Zhenji really looked serious. Zizi, I don't want to give half of my love to anyone. But promise me not to mention the child in the future. You are a child yourself, how can you take care of another child? Don't you like children? Looking at the scene where he interacted with children just now, he was not too gentle. He probably didn't like children very much. No, Lun Zhenji denied it. He didn't know how to tell Yang Zizi that they would never have children in this life. Because the vampires have a very strict rule, not only are vampires of the vampires not allowed to have any emotional relationships with humans or other races, they are also not allowed to give birth to mixed-race newborns. Because of the different races, it is absolutely impossible to give birth to mixed-race newborns. Survived 1 year. Once a vampire of the vampire family violates any of the rules of the vampire family, he will be sentenced to death and will not be reincarnated forever. Seeing what Lun Zhenji said, Yang Zizi compromised. After all, he was still a high school student, and it was indeed too early to have a child. Well, it's all up to you. I can give birth to you whenever you want. Yang Zizi held his arm and jumped up and down happily. Early on the next morning, Bai's Hisha came to Yang Zizi school and waited for Fi Fei's class, but there was no one there. Bai's Hisha couldn't wait any longer. He called Fi Fei but no one answered. Then he called Yang Zizi to ask about the situation and whether Fi Fei had let him go. When Yang Zizi heard this, he was anxious. He shouldn't be. Before Fi Fei went to see Bai's Hishu, she asked him to see if Bai's Hishu would like his outfit today. After getting her affirmative answer, Fi Fei immediately went to the appointment. Could something have happened? Recently, for some unknown reason, there have been frequent reports of horrific incidents, saying that ferocious beasts often appear in the forest behind the school and specialize in eating people. No one answered Yang Zizi's call to Fi Fei. I contacted the good players around him and they all said they didn't know. Suddenly, Yang Zizi received a call from Fi Fei, who told her that she was trapped in the forest behind the school and was being attacked by a group of wild beasts, and asked her to come and rescue him immediately. When Yang Zizi was about to go find her brothers, Fi Fei suddenly said to her, "Don't bring anyone here, otherwise I will die." Yang Zizi was confused. Her brothers were more powerful than her, so rescuing her should be easy. Besides, there is strength in numbers, so why did he let her go alone? The more Yang Zizi thought about it, the more he felt something was wrong. However, rescuing people is more important now, and Yang Zizi can't do much more. Anyway, with his own strength, it is more than enough to rescue Fei from the beast. Yang Zizi's superpower can now be used normally, so he went up the mountain quickly. He looked around, and a damp smell hit his nose. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zizai. Chapter 68. Chapter 68. What do you think? Suddenly, a corpse fell from the sky and landed at Yang Zizi's feet. Yang Zizi screamed and hid far away. A figure was down from a tree, stood in front of him, and snorted coldly, "I didn't expect that you are not even afraid of ghosts, but actually afraid of people." Yang Zizi looked at the corpse, and the more he looked at it, the more familiar it became. Finally, he saw it, it was Fei. Fei, Yang Zizi looked at Fei lying on the ground in disbelief. When he saw the fang marks on her neck, he knew that she must have been killed by Gui Kale. "Did you kill Fei?" Yang Zizi glared at him. "That's right, you came too late. I'm really hungry. Otherwise, you would be the one lying here. You want to kill me?" "Yes, but if you agree to a condition, I will consider letting you go." "What conditions?" "Leave Brother Shenchi and never see him again." "Impossible," Yang Zizi said firmly. "Stupid human beings are really greedy. Don't you know that Lun Shenchi and I are a perfect match? As early as 500 years ago, my brother Shenchi and I have known each other. We have seen the stars together and made wishes together. We destroyed enemies together." Gui Kale couldn't help but recall all the memories of He Lun's prosperous days 500 years ago. Yang Zizi naturally wouldn't take Gui Kale's words to heart. He just wanted to anger him and provoke a relationship between her and Lun Shenchi. "I don't care about his past, but I will be by her side in his present and future to prevent mistresses like you from stirring up trouble." Gui Kale was irritated. Although she didn't have much contact with humans, he could still understand the curse words. "You, okay, since you don't want to, then I will keep you and enjoy it slowly." Gui Kale suddenly flashed in front of Yang Zizi, and when he reached out to strangle his neck, he didn't expect that Yang Zizi would strangle his neck instead. Gui Kale was shocked. A mere human being was actually more powerful than a vampire. In our human world, there is a price to pay for killing. "Do you think you can kill me?" Gui Kale said sarcastically. He never thought that a human could kill a vampire. Since ancient times, dead vampires have been killed by their own kind, and no humble vampire has ever died in the hands of humans. If there is one, it is the biggest joke in the world. "What do you think?" Yang Zizi increased his strength. Gui Kale suddenly laughed. To her, it was just a vague discomfort on her neck, which did not endanger her life at all. Yang Zizi was also shocked. Her strength was already very strong. Unexpectedly, Gui Kale's expression did not change, but he frowned slightly, as if being pinched by a human was very embarrassing. Yang Zizi suddenly thought of a book he had read. The book said that if you want to completely kill a vampire, you must cut off his head and burn his body together for 3 days and 3 nights to completely kill a vampire. Yang Zizi took out a knife from his pocket. It was given to him by Lun Shenchi for self-defense, but unexpectedly it was used on Gui Kale. "What do you want to do?" Gui Kale finally panicked. "Cut off your head." "You dare?" Gui Kale struggled desperately. "There is nothing in this world that I dare not do." He picked up the knife and pointed it at Gui Kale's white and tender neck. "Seed." Yang Zizi turns his head, it is a prosperous time. He came just in time, so Kale didn't need to put in so much effort in killing the ghost. "Put the knife down." Did he hear it correctly? Lun Shenchi was persuading him to let Gui Kale go. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zai. Chapter 69. Chapter 69. Let's get a divorce. Lun Chenchi, do you want to save him in front of me? Yang Zizi asked coldly. Who said he didn't care about what Gui Kale said to him just now? He cares about it now. He cares about it very much, even in the current situation of Chong Lun Chenchi. Put the knife down first, don't be impulsive. Yang Zizi looked at the always majestic Lun Chenchi, but he became so cautious for Gui Kale. He killed Fi Fei, Yang Zizi yelled. Why, even he couldn't tell right from wrong now. I know, but be obedient, you can't kill him. Why is it because he is a vampire princess, or because you once saw the stars and the moon with her? Lun Chenchi was stunned for a second. He didn't know what Gui Kale told him. Now he had to stop Yang Zizi from hurting Yang Zizi. Otherwise, the blood royal family would never let Yang Zizi go, and with him alone human abilities simply cannot compete with the blood royal family. Seeing that Lun Chenchi did not speak, she sneered, so what if the vampire princess, I can still kill her openly. Yang Zizi stabbed her with the knife without hesitation. A gust of wind blew by, and in the blink of an eye, Gui Kale was rescued from her hands. Yang Zizi took a look and saw that they were the brothers whom her sister called her every day. He, they are the same kind of people after all. How could they help an outsider? He is really stupid. You go first, Lun Chenchi said to his brothers. Within a second, the brothers took Gui Kale away and disappeared. Yang Zizi stared blankly at Fi Fei lying on the ground. It was all because of her. She was the one who harmed Fi Fei. If he hadn't introduced her to Bai's Hishu and gotten so close to him, Fi Fei wouldn't have suffered. At the hands of Gui Kale. Zizi Lun Chenchi walked over and wanted to hug her. Yang Zizi avoided him indifferently and looked at him. Let's get a divorce. I don't like men who are half-hearted. Her eyes were full of gloom and disappointment. He thought that no matter whether she was right or wrong, Lun Chenchi would unconditionally favor her. Unexpectedly, even if she was right, he would also favor others. Lun Chenchi knew that his actions had disappointed Yang Zizi, so he patiently said to him, Fool, do you know what the consequences will be if you kill Gui Kale? You also know that he is a blood royal family. Princess, if you kill her, the vampires will not let you go, and even the innocent people around you will be implicated. Yang Zizi blames himself for not being able to protect those around him and must always be cautious. Looking at Fi Fei lying on the ground, he felt guilty all the time. What about Fi Fei? She is innocent, so why should she just let Gui Kale go wild in our human world? Lun Chenchi didn't say anything, and sometimes he was helpless. I will not let Gui Kale go, I will make him pay the price. Yang Zizi's eyes were bloodshot. So what about the vampire princess? His Highness the vampire was conquered by him, so a mere princess is nothing. Let me ask you, have you really seen the stars and the moon with Gui Kale? Yang Zizi grabbed Lun Chenchi's tie and stared at Lun Chenchi with his big eyes. He didn't dare to lie. Yang Zizi's eyes were like lie detectors. She could see everything. Lun Chenchi could only nod silently. The dignified first of war of the vampire clan was actually crushed to death by a human girl. End of this chapter. The fake daughter can be either salty or sweet. Author, Wu Zai. Chapter 70. Chapter 70. Your night is so fascinating. Ho, you are really capable, you actually looked at the stars and the moon with the vampire princess. Yang Zizi held hands, he was angry, and she was jealous. Fool, that was all in the past. My present and my future are yours. Lun Chenchi scratched her little nose lovingly. Yang Zizi finally smiled reluctantly. Okay, from now on, if you dare to protect other girls in front of me, I will. Yang Zizi waved his fists, looking at a loss as to what to do. It is only effective if it threatens the prosperity of society. Lun Zhenqi was amused by her cute appearance. Fool, what are you doing? I will kill the girl you want to protect, Yang Zizi said angrily. Lun Zhenqi touched his head and heart and said, okay, but from now on, my children are not allowed to casually say that they want a divorce, you know. Yeah, Yang Zizi nodded obediently, realizing that what he just said had hurt his uncle's heart. Hey, by the way, wouldn't it turn into a vampire after being bitten by a vampire? Then Phi Fei is not dead. Yang Zizi suddenly remembered that the book did say that being bitten by a vampire would turn into a vampire. Fool, what the book says is only half of what it says, because we vampires can decide whether to kill her or turn her into a vampire. Phi Fei looks like this, she should be dead. Then is there any way you can save her? Lun Zhenqi shook his head, and if he could do it, then the person he cared about most would not be able to leave him. Early on the next morning, Phi Fei's death spread in the school, and everyone speculated about the cause of Phi Fei's death. The next day, everyone looked at him with strange eyes. Only by listening to their conversation did they learn that they didn't know who they were listening to, and they didn't know where it came from. She actually became the murderer of Phi Fei. Strangely, it seems that the whole school thinks that Phi Fei was killed by himself, but there is no movement in the powerful online world. Goikale suddenly passed by her and looked at her proudly. Yang Zizi was so angry that he grabbed Goikale and dragged him out of the classroom. Goikale was dragged away by a human being, but he didn't have the strength to break free. Let me go. In a hidden place, Yang Zizi shook off Goikale. Goikale, if you are shameless, I tell you, don't act wild in the human world, otherwise, even if you are the vampire king, I will still kill you. Goikale suddenly burst into laughter, and laughed at him for his ignorance. Ha 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 ha, Yang Zizi, do you think that with the protection of brother Zhenqi, you cannot take the rules of the vampire family to heart? I tell you, you kill if you can't kill me, everyone around you will be buried with me. Really? Yang Zizi stepped forward and grabbed his neck. She couldn't kill him because he was only a human and she was a vampire. Yang Zizi was suddenly choked by Goikale. Strangely, the looming superpower failed again at a critical moment. I'm very surprised, are you a human or a ghost? Goikale expressed his doubts. A small human being has the same strength and speed as a vampire. She was puzzled. She had never met a human being who could compete with him. Facing Yang Zizi, Goikale took a deep breath and said intoxicatedly, your night is really fascinating. End of this chapter.